Hello there. In Great Britain, some weird primal laws are still in force. But what is the risk of violating the outdated laws? A British journalist dared to try this. 2022 was haywire for Britain. Three different prime ministers in 1 year sat at the head of government. Johnson's successor Liz Truss is likely to have the shortest tenure in history. And even after Sunak took office, peace has not yet returned to Great Britain. But not only the frequent changes of office in the country should make some people suspicious. Outdated laws are still in force in the UK because they haven't been repealed, and some of them are pretty weird. In Britain, many laws passed centuries ago are still in effect today. The reason for this is the historical development of legal history in Britain, or in England for this. Since the laws are based on long-gone cases from the 19th or 20th century, many of these laws are no longer up to date. Does breaking the age-old laws still have consequences, and are they still taken seriously? To find out, Uba Butler, a journalist at the American online and print magazine Vice, deliberately tried to break some of these crazy laws in a YouTube video. And that's what it looked like in practice. Butler walked around with a giant salmon in his arms, sang an obscene ballad outside former Prime Minister Tony Blair's house. He barefoot shook out a rug outside Buckingham Palace and played a knocking prank on the Prime Minister Sunak. All of these violations have been banned by law long ago, and such the Metropolitan Police Act 1839. It prohibits shaking out a dirty carpet in public after 8 a.m. However, a visibly confused officer asked Butler only half mockingly, while apparently shaking out the rug much later than 8 a.m., "Is this a protest movement?" The officer also made no use of the Town Police Clauses Act 1847. Accordingly, if you knock on a door and then run away, you face imprisonment. But the policeman on patrol was only amused by Butler, who carried out the knocking prank in London's Downing Street, where Sunak has his office. The British police also was kind of left cold with further attempts to break British original laws. Incidentally, these aren't the only weird laws still in force in Britain. One, we have, according to an Act of 1313, members of Parliament may not wear armour when entering Parliament House. And number two, the Library Offences Act of 1898 prohibits gambling in a library. The law also prohibits abusive or obscene language. And three, misplacing a stamp with a monarch's head on an envelope is considered treason. It's also illegal to deface or destroy anything resembling the monarch. And four, carrying wooden planks on the pavement is a criminal offence under a statute of the Metropolitan Police Act 1839. And the Salmon Act 1986 prohibits any trade in salmon where it appears suspicious. While it may now be dawning on some that some of these laws were unknowingly broken while in the UK, rest easy. Not even for the Vice journalist Butler, there were consequences after the publication of his video. And I thought, for once, it has to do with British politics, with long ago British politics, and current parliament should perhaps do something about this. But it's just a sign they have a different system of laws in the UK than in many other places in the world, because a lot is based on precedents, and that is why they don't really clean up the laws, and that's what we see here. So it might be wise to have a look on some ancient stuff, but people do not get into trouble, as we could see on the example of Butler, because most of the police will not know these laws. But I wanted to do something for fun at last. I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.